Let's go ahead and take... Let's take Jesse in New Jersey. The note here says that you've been accused on Facebook of lacking respect and bashing Christianity because you post clips of ACA shows.
Just basically advertisements, or not advertisements so much, but posts for atheists, like the Atheist Experience. My friend came back with stuff like he learned respect, and it was like Christian bashing posts and all of that. And this is someone that I've known since high school, like 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just, he said that you complain about religious people constantly shoveling their beliefs down your throat. And I said, yes, I do. I have a problem with the oceans of religious reminders I see, yet you begrudge me the few drops of atheist views I post.
Yeah.
And then I said, it reminds me of 2 Samuel 12, where the person with many lambs has a problem with the person who has only one. And I said, but it shouldn't take an atheist to remind you of a fable from the Bible.
Yeah, well, it often does, actually.
Like that. And, what's that?
It usually takes an atheist to remind Christians of what's in the Bible. At least that's my experience.
Yeah. Mine too.
Exactly. And it goes on, and I said, just stuff like religions try to take credit for things that are just plain common sense and decency.
Thou shalt not murder.
Yeah, and how people confuse morality with religion all the time. Mm-hmm. Because morality is just an innate sense of common decency.
Yeah, social species.
A rational consideration of the consequences of your action, which I've heard Matt say all the time. And religion has nothing whatsoever to do with the origin of that, presuming there is one.
Yeah, well, I would say the origin of that is humans being a social species and living and having a language that these things can be communicated in.
Of course.
Let me take this opportunity to say thank you for posting the clips of our shows. And unless something has changed, we still have our T-shirt challenge, or rather our Talk Heathen poster challenge, where you can go online, get a copy of our poster with the number to call our show, and post them. And the person who posts the largest number in a week gets a Talk Heathen T-shirt. So send those in to mail@talkheathen.org. But sorry for running over you, Jesse. Yeah, it's frustrating to bump into people, Christians and non-believers alike, that think that talking about the issue is somehow insulting in and of itself. I know that you say that a lot.
It goes to privilege. I always say the worst thing you can do to a Christian is treat them equally. They hate that. Taking away privilege is not discriminating against Christianity.
Yeah.
And Christian privilege has been pervasive in this country, and we're taking it back to eliminate that, to treat all people of all religions equally. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have a fight on our hands, but we're winning.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really hope so.
It's an uphill battle, but we're charging ahead pretty quickly at this point.
And I think the big difference is you're going to start to see local groups going after their own school boards, city councils, getting involved. And that's kind of our initiative, to get them involved in their local government with schools, city councils, and on policies that matter, and on the equal rights issue. The most important thing we can do as atheists is show up when religion's trying to discriminate against people, and they are on so many different areas. And we must be in this space, and we must speak out.
And that kills me, though. I mean, he's trying to talk to me about respect. In the meantime, atheists aren't getting any.
Yeah.
It goes back to, I respect you as a person, but I don't respect your belief or bad ideas.
Yeah.
And I said that with my friends. They go, you need to respect my beliefs. And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't respect bad ideas. And they get a little shocked, but I make that very clear. I respect you as a person.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you bad names. I am not saying anything personally. Yeah. But your belief system is a bad idea, if you want to boil it down simple. And we shouldn't respect bad ideas.
No, yeah. And I mean, I get along well with my family because I respect them as people, even though a majority of them are still Christians and still attend church. The book that they use as divine inspiration is full of not just genocide and incest, but all kinds of terrible sexist, unequal ideas that are terrible. My vocabulary is limited today, but it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, some of the most wonderful people I've ever known in my life are very, strong believers in Christianity and very devout Christians. And I mean, they are wonderful, wonderful people. And there is no possible way that I would ever take them out of my life. But it's just that the religion absolutely is, I despise it.
I set a rule with my family that went pretty well, because my sister would get upset with me, or certain relatives would get upset with me because I would be talking about atheism. And so what I said is this: I don't need to bring it up, and I won't bring it up. I can talk to you because you're my family. But if you bring something up, I will not let it go unchallenged.
Yeah.
And so I've had some very good conversations with my family because of this, and other family members have learned very quickly to avoid the subject like the plague, and we get along fine because they won't bring it up because they can't handle it. But I don't get upset.
Yeah.
I understand it. I am just talking about a few things. But it's up to them if they want to engage, because I am always happy to engage. But if they don't want to, that's fine. But don't say stupid things. Like I'm going to pray for you, or, whatever they may be talking about God and Jesus. And I'll be like, yeah, that's not true.
Yeah. Right. Don't open up the floodgates.
But having that conversation with your family to set that groundwork ahead of time to avoid a fight where they get upset, I think goes a long way. Like, hey, I know this bothers you, but also understand if you say this, we don't. And just setting that groundwork. And it could be different. Whatever your rules of engagement are with your family, as long as everybody knows, or your friends know.
Yeah.
Or if you have a safe word to bow out, like, okay, we've had enough, let's go talk about baseball or swimming. Maybe you need a safe word. I have a friend that has a safe word, when they get into, and it's with their spouse, when they get into a discussion about these things. Whatever you need to do, but setting that groundwork and open communication. And don't, and most people only want to engage in a few minutes when they say something, not for hours.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure on this show, we do this for hours. We are gay, but most people want a couple-minute conversation, then they want to move on. Yeah. And I think we need to respect that as well.
Yeah. I mean, recently, a close friend of mine I've known basically my whole life asked me, like, I've been meaning to ask you, and I know I can ask you because we're friends and you're not going to be offended. Why do you do this? Why do you think this is important? What's wrong with agnosticism? Don't you think that Catholics are more likely to be insulted than Christians because of all the scandals in the church? It was difficult. I think I avoided telling them no, because this has been happening for decades now, and no one...
Well, the thing is, Catholics are Christians.
Yeah. Well, that and I don't think that...
Depends on who you talk to.
Well, that's very true.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not permitted to work at the Ark Park, actually.
Correct.
Yeah. It depends on who you ask and when. Because if they're speaking publicly, sometimes they don't mention that. But, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, keep posting clips, I say. Connect with us on Facebook. Or hopefully you're part of one or more of the discussion groups that the ACA has.
Yeah, I also posted a meme on your page that you liked. The one about how you doing.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, if I'm remembering.
People call in and they ask the host how they're doing. Well, if you've been watching the show, you should know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Anyway.
No, it's good. I mean, I don't want to throw any shade at our callers. We're happy for each one we get, and I'm happy to tell them that I'm doing marvelously.
I understand.
But yeah,
I understand.
We do get that sentiment from callers and from people in the booth that it's like, no, they know that you're fine. You know that they're fine. Otherwise, they wouldn't be calling.
No, it's just a
it's poking a little fun
thing. Yeah. So, anyway.
All right, Jesse. Well, I think we're going to move on to our next caller. But thank you for calling in, and I hope you keep in touch.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure talking to you.
Definitely.
Yeah, keep dropping memes.
Thank you so much. All right, take care.
Go without God.